today, a little windy for that.
It's a little windy,
Yeah. Yesterday was really windy.
I didn't see the video. A couple of students jumped up and down home with flies. Oh, yeah, it was a good time. Because I'll just say, well, the art had to come in here. You can't fly without a fuel pump. Not very high.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't watch the tape. I started talking to you, but that would have been interesting. Oh, there's our van.
What's in the van?
That's the dude who cut across the damn runway when we were landing.
No shit.
Yeah. No, on final. And he didn't go on the paved part of the runway, but right in front of
He
it.
came through that gate.
Came to the
As
airport
soon as he
gate.
came through the gates, he made an immediate right turn and turned straight there at the end of the runway. We were landing on 35. And that's the gate he came through, and he went out there. If we had an extended landing, it would probably hit him. He said
He didn't speak a lick of English or pretend he had a temporary plate on the van. He was just some Amazon delivery driver. And all he did is he probably couldn't get in the exit gate. And he's like, oh, the GPS app says this, and then that's what he did. He just cut off. Oh, I did. I called the sheriff. He did crap. I did a video online.
Fine. You don't know necessarily why.
Markings on the van. There we go. No markings and a temporary plate. That's it.
Yeah. Somebody said that dude was a little longer than Jackson.
He was when he went out there. And he went through the gate doing about 100.
I used to go through there late at night in church, 11, 12 o'clock, really fast, and have more chips. And I didn't realize how stupid it was what I was doing.
Not quite, but generally they no airplanes right at that time.
But at 100 miles an hour,
Now, the thing they come feed around the airplane.
How you doing? That's life on the short leash.
Oh, that was when she was on the boat. Oh yeah, you're right, because I remember there was one, I had them all day, but you know how I was on my phone, I have them.
Bill, how are you?
Hey everyone, just sign up to speak and agendas are behind us over here. So please help yourself to an agenda and sign up to speak who would like to. Right behind me?
No,
Okay.
He's hovering.
He's covering?
hey, so
the water's turned on. My wife, she's coming.
Covering?
Easy.
the water's turned out.
There it is.
Been turned off, Amy. Where you been? You pay your bills, so the water gets shut off here.
But you can gladly buy the land.
Oh, you're so lucky. I'm waiting on my wife today.
No, the water shut off.
And they got a really good deal.
Oh, that's right, you're turning on.
That's teed off. So what happens is it separates and then it goes to a pipe that's right in front of the new ship. Pump out and here. So they just finally moved the dirt pile. We have to now we have to excavate it where it's leaking right there at the cabin. So
Hasn't been that friendly ever.
tomorrow.
You got back at 8 Warm now, but only be either outside.
I got her electricity. She might not even.
It's the weather.
Does this one maybe not show?
What's that?
Does this one not show on the camera?
Oh, no, I'm sure it shows up, no problem there.
Oh, I don't want to do
Oh, well, you want me to put you in the chair? I'm not sure that you can hide from this one, it's such a wide angle.
it. Oh my goodness, so you're not going to even participate?
It is. That's good news.
I remember that.
Yes.
It's got some here, but it don't have any miles on it.
Here, you got a new car now.
Okay, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you haven't signed up to speak and you would like to, go ahead and do that. The sheet sign is right over here, and the agendas are over here too. So go ahead and get an agenda.
One on the outside.
Alrighty.
Is Lenita's one to be
Sorry,
here? Is Lenita's one to be here?
she's right here.
They must be a little long.
She's right here. Her team is on the phone. Unfortunately, couldn't make it, but to establish the quorum is the board, not Andrew. But we will talk about that later. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. It is 6 o'clock on the nose. Go ahead and hit. Okay, good. So we are gonna start doing minutes of these meetings as opposed to a video. So it's 6:01. We're calling the meeting to order. It's a special meeting of the WSC Board of Directors, Monday, March 3rd, 2025, 6 p.m. 6:01 at the Windermere Pavilion. We're going to start with the number one is the call to order, which we're going to call to order at 6:01, and that is item 1. The next agenda item is item 2, public comment. And would you like to go grab that sheet to see everybody that signed up to speak? Sure. You want to sit down? I can't see
It's not wearing a cowboy hat, you really wouldn't see. Wearing like 10 gallon cowboy hat.
All right, the first person on
If I
the
may go last, that'd be great.
the first person to speak is Janet Crow.
As a 30-year member of the Water Corporation, I have a few general comments. First of all, I wanted to thank Brian and Scott Miller for their service and the immeasurable time that they have spent while serving as board members. I applaud you for continuing to serve this long as a board member. During the meetings, you remained calm and respectful of the members, even when they were rude and disrespectful to you, and posted negative opinions about you on social media. Thank you. To Lenita and Carlos and Virgilio, I wanted to thank them for preparing and trying to prepare a workable budget for us. And I wanted to express my priorities as a member. First, for the bills to be paid, especially the AWR. Second, to procure needed insurance. Third, to find the funding for an additional clarifier. And fourth, to continue pressing the PUC for rates that will sustain the operations of the corporation. And to the new board members, as well as thanking you for your service, and wanting to remind you that the WSC is a nonprofit, member-owned, member-controlled water supply and sewer service corporation. It is not a co-op and should not be referred to as a co-op. The Article 5 of the bylaws state that no dividends shall ever be paid upon the memberships of the corporation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Josie Fuller.
I am also a member for 30 years. I've been here since '95. And while I sit at every meeting, and when I don't get clarity on where we're going other than spending money on legal fees, I happened to be very heated about it. And while they stood up to, I guess, sit on the board, we continued to go down the same path, which obviously doesn't sit well with me. So my apologies for being a little vocal about this. But again, it's called insanity. When you keep going down the same path over and over again for the last 5 years, I think enough is enough. I think we have all paid out more and been very reasonable for the time that it took for us to get to this place with board members who actually can do the job. So that's what I have to say about this. When somebody shows up, and I don't care who it is, when somebody shows up with a budget and they haven't done their due diligence, their research, how would you feel if you were an employee going to your boss? Would you say, oh, well, this is all I got, sorry, I can't give you what you want? We've been doing this for 5 years. And for 5 years, we've gotten no answers. We've gotten, well, just sue us. We've gotten a lot of legal fees. And I have to start wondering whether we're really, truly in the water business or the legal business. Because frankly, I'm not so sure anymore. And it's going to take an army to help get this back into order. We are only so many people. I have confidence. Patty knows what she's doing. She has been in this business for a long time. Alan has a legal background because he was in law enforcement. And frankly, those are the kinds of people that I'm going to trust going forward. I'm not going to have somebody sit on the board who's just a body that gives you answers to no avail. I'm not okay with that. I don't know how many people would be okay with that. I know if I went to my boss and told him that I'm sorry, I can't find the information, I don't know, they'd say, well, you know what, here's your deal, here's your pink slip. And I'd have to say, you're right, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm not okay with the fact that we're still going down the same path. So again, my apologies for getting a little riled last week. That wasn't my intention, but I get to the point where do we go from here? Where is this? Where are we going to step up to make it any better? Are we just going to say, okay, it's good? Janet's okay with it. I haven't heard anybody else say that they're okay with it, though. That's a big concern. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person is Danny Funker.
I wasn't going to speak until I heard Janet speak. Janet somehow finds herself on the wrong side every time, and that's okay. But the co-op thing, clearly you didn't watch Joe Jimenez's deposition. He was asked about it over and over, and they had to open up our governing documents and point to where it says we're a co-op, a 501c12 co-op. It's in there, Janet. You would fail the deposition too. Thank you.
Marvin, I saw that you walked in late. Did you want to sign up to speak? You typically want to speak. So do you?
No, thank you.
Okay. Okie dokie. All righty. That being said, let's move on to the next agenda item, which is roll call, establishing a special quorum of Article. We did revise the bylaws. It's Article 8, Section 10 of the bylaws, which state, pursuant to Article 8, Section 10 of the WSC bylaws, a majority of the board constitutes a quorum. And as you know, Ellen and I were appointed at the last board meeting. Unfortunately, I could not attend. And we are the only board members now, which we'll discuss in the next agenda item. So we are the majority, therefore this constitutes a quorum, and we are calling, this is the roll call. guess I should have asked if anybody had anything to speak before that. Did anybody have anything to say about the roll call?
No, but I'd like you to expound on the fact that
Okay, well, hold on. Not so fast. Okay, let's move on to agenda item 14. I'm sorry, 4. It's been a long day. Actually, is there a 14? Yeah, adjourn. We don't say to adjourn. See you later. Okay, item 4, discussion and action, including voting to accept the resignation of Brian Garceau and Scott Miller. We were given the information from Lenita that Scott Miller and Brian Garceau submitted their resignation along, I think the following day or so. Jeff Walker also submitted his resignation. However, because I don't have this on the agenda, we're not going to accept his right now. It'll be accepted. I mean, it's accepted, but we are going to formally accept it. But we're going to go ahead and we are going to take a vote on accepting their resignation. I'm going to go ahead and move that we make a motion to accept the resignation of Brian Garceau and Scott Miller. Would you like to second that? Second. Okay, all those in favor, vote aye. Aye. The motion passes. We have accepted Brian Garceau and Scott Miller's resignation. Were there any comments on that? I am so sorry. I forgot to open that up for comments. Did anyone want to comment on that?
I want to thank them for doing the right thing finally.
Yeah, after they sold the land.
Yeah, we understand why.
Okay, so I'll do it the proper way. The next item is item 5, discussion and action. This is on including voting on the appointment of directors to fill the vacant positions on the board, ensuring compliance with Article 10, Section 9 of the WSC bylaws, which allows the remaining directors to fill vacancies by a majority vote. I won't go into detail what it states. You can see that. Is there anyone that wants to comment on this before we move forward with it? Okay, since there is none, we have received indication from Mark Carpenter that he would be more than happy. He would like to sit on the board to help us out. So he had sent his application. I apologize, I didn't print it. So Mark Carpenter would like to sit on the board for the duration of the position 1, which he communicated is the empty. Well, actually, I take it back. Let's go ahead and put you on position 2, because that was Scott Miller and Brian Garceau. So we'll go ahead and do that. I am going to move for a motion to appoint Mark Carpenter to fill director position number 2. Would you like?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor vote aye.
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 Okay, Mark,
Thank you.
would you like to take a seat at the front? Yes, do you have a question?
So that position, because that's one of the ones that's going to be coming up for nomination, will it just be till we have the vote
Yes.
in April?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I will read it. Well, I'm sure you guys read it. It says any vacancy occurring in the board of directors may be filled by the affirmative vote of the remaining directors or less than a quorum of the board. A director elected to fill a vacancy shall be elected for the unexpired term of their predecessor in office. Okie dokie. Are we good?
Yep.
All right. Wonderful. Let's move to Lenita just said welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to 6, which is discussion and possible action, including voting on the appointment of officers. I am going to open that up. Did anyone sign up to speak on that? Does anyone have any comments? We're going to be very
I would like to say
open
something.
here.
Bravo to the last board that refused to accept these positions, secretary, treasurer, president. I think this is wonderful.
Anyone else? Okay. If there are no other comments, we're going to go ahead. We're going to discuss appointing the officers. It is required by statute and by our bylaws. We are required to have at minimum a president and a secretary. It is required by law to have that, not a vice president. So we're not required for that. But we're going to go ahead and we are going to, I guess, make some motions on who's gonna be what, and who's gonna,
I'll make a motion to appoint Patty as the president of the Middle Park Cycle. So here a second. All those in favor? Aye.
okay. All right, so the president will be me. Let's move on to the secretary treasurer. And just for, that everybody understands the treasury obligations. So we have a secretary treasurer for the bylaws, but because of the PUC appointment and the temporary manager docket, Anzer is assuming all those obligations to be the treasurer and all payments and everything that goes with that. So with that being said, the secretary treasurer position is more or less more of secretary, and then I guess can work with Anzer on any financial stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and appoint.
I'll make a motion for Alan to be chair, secretary.
All right, I second that. All those in favor? Thank you for your participation, audience members. I appreciate that. Okay, I think we're going to hold off on the vice president now. We're going to talk to Lenita about that because what we had to get is a president and secretary treasurer in immediately. So with that being said, Alan will be the secretary treasurer and I will be the president. All right, moving right along. And that is item 7. And that is discussion and possible action, including voting on the evaluation of legal representation for the WSC, including consideration of existing legal counsel, alternative legal representation, and the scope of legal services required to ensure compliance with the Public Utility Commission PUC regulations and other applicable laws. I'm going to open this up. I know I don't really have, no one really signed up for each agenda item, but we're just going to open it up. Is there anyone that has comments before we discuss this?
I think, Julie, since we're on the credential committee, are we voting on that then? Or
This is legal. This is legal.
Oh.
This is attorneys.
are we getting rid of Carlton and?
Well, we're going to discuss that.
Okay.
This is really just kind of comments right now.
Can I make I thought it had been talked about at one point that you would go through and present what you were going to vote on, and then we could do comments, and then you would turn around and vote on it as the board.
Say that, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't there.
Have a discussion and then.
So we know.
Well, you guys can comment anytime you want to. This is open. We're
So I'm
not,
just saying that because it's hard to know what you're gonna discuss.
well,
You can
that's
comment on it.
that's exactly what it is, like
Yeah.
what it says. So
Uh-huh.
who's our counsel? We only have one counsel.
Yeah.
So read between the lines. Okay. Any comments? No more comments. Okay. On this agenda item.
Can you maybe request someone from another water group that has a good counsel that they might recommend somebody?
Well, as you know, or you may not know, Lenita is an attorney. So she's an attorney. While she can only practice in California, I mean, they're a large company. They have attorneys. And the PUC dockets, all the PUC dockets that came out of the temporary manager, it was determined by the PUC that Anzer would be handling all those PUC dockets, which typically don't really require an attorney to do those filings. And I know they're working with the PUC attorneys hand in hand. So
Thank you.
I think that's how it's going to move forward. Yes, Marvin.
Patty, do we have any other lawsuits that are still open that attorneys have to be involved in?
No.
They're all settled or gone away?
No, there's no lawsuit that an attorney needs to be involved with.
Are there any lawsuits that are still open?
That we owe.
No, that we don't. We may not owe anything, but we might in the future if there's a lawsuit still open.
There's one in the Burnett County, and then there's all the PUC ones.
Well, the PUC is different, I think.
Yeah.
I'm talking about lawsuits that have been filed in the past that might cost us some money.
No.
Okay, thank
Answer your
you.
question is no.
Thank you.
Okay. So I don't think we have discussed this agenda item yet. Okay. Well, so we're going to go ahead and discuss this. Alan is going to come around, and here it is right here. He's going to pass this out because we are going to be very open about what we will look at, you guys are going to look at. So we have the copies, so you guys can be looking at exactly what we're looking at when we're reading it. Oh, I might need one for myself. All right. I have one. I'm sorry. Maybe you can one. What Alan is passing out right now is the resignation letter from John Carlton. He submitted his resignation letter to Lanita on Friday. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to read this resignation letter to you guys. And we are going to formally accept his resignation letter. So, I'll wait for Alan to come back.
I am.
Where's our balloons?
All right.
Raise your hand if you didn't get a copy and you'd like one. Everyone's got one? Okay, great. All right. This was received on February 28th. I believe that was Friday. Was it? Yes, it was Friday. And it was an email sent to Lanita and I guess the board of directors. However, most of them had already quit or resigned. So it says, "Dear board members," which I guess is now us. So that it says. I will read this out loud. This letter is written notice of the Carlton Law Firm's termination of representation of the Windermere Water Supply Corporation, WSC, as provided in our engagement letter, which WSC signed on behalf of the WSC by Julie Newman on February 24th, 2024. Our representation of the WSC will officially terminate 15 days from the date of this letter, Saturday, March 15, 2025. We are unable to continue our representation of the WSC. In addition to the ongoing challenges with representation of the WSC and its relationship with the temporary manager appointed by the Public Utility Commission of Texas, the firm requires payment of all fees within 30 days of the date of this invoice, the date of invoice. WSC has not routinely cooperated with the firm, followed legal advice, or met the payment conditions for our engagement. Thus, we are no longer able to represent the WSC and must terminate our representation. Please see the attached summary of the pending projects that the firm has been working on for the WSC and the actions that are needed by the WSC or others on these projects. There are no projects that have outstanding work due from the firm. I've attached a bill from the firm for services rendered during February 2025. WSC does not have any other outstanding balance due to the firm. As of March 15th, our work as general counsel and on any other matters related to WSC will cease. We wish success in its future endeavors. Sincerely, the Carlton Law Firm, John Carlton, Managing Member. All right, I am going to move that we accept the John Carlton's.
Can I ask a question?
Oh.
Are they going to forward all legal documents that incurred that they have in their possession to the new board?
That's good.
I'm sorry, what?
Are they going to forward all legal documents to the new board?
Forward.
Or forward to y'all that they may have incurred to the old board?
I think that was part of his communication with Lanita, but good question. I will follow up. He has sent us a list of all the outstanding projects and his invoice. Typically, you get all the documents with that, so I will circle around with you and let you know.
Prior to payment.
I will let everybody know.
Prior to payment, right? Prior to payment.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't 100% tell you that. I will have to talk with Lanita. I know Lanita is on this call, so you might be able to answer that.
What was the question again?
Is getting all the documentation from John Carlton that he has in his possession, that's Windermere Oaks
Related.
Documents. Will we be getting those?
Yeah. One of the things that I informed them is that we need to have a wrap-up call, and that's one of the main topics that we'll have is all the information that they have in hand.
prior to payment, right, Linnea?
I'm sorry, Patty, I didn't hear the question.
Prior to
There's
payment.
a question that, will that happen, or is that gonna mean payment has to be made for all the documents to be turned over?
They should be handing over the documents anyway. Those are property of Windermere. There will be review of the invoices that we need to make to ensure that the services were rendered and we agree, and that will be done as well.
And what kind of total is this invoice that they've handed us?
It's not paid in property.
I don't know, I don't know.
Linnea doesn't have any
Linnea,
idea.
they're wanting to know what the last invoice amount is.
What do we owe them?
Approximately $12,000.
How much?
Approximately $12,000. Any other questions?
No, but I wanted to emphasize, to be clear, WOWC has not routinely cooperated with the firm or
Yeah.
followed legal advice. That is the board.
That's on this letter.
That's on this letter. He actually put it right. Thank you, board.
Yeah.
All right. So, no more questions. We're going to go ahead and take a vote if there's no more questions. All right, no more questions. I'm going to move that we accept the resignation letter of John Carlton. Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor, vote aye. Aye. Okay, we accept his resignation letter. John Carlton, yeah, exactly. All right, thank you for your participation again. All right, we have an active crowd today. Next item is going to be agenda item 8, discussion and possible action, including voting on public utility dockets 56167 and 50788 and 56272, which you can see on your agenda. Just a second, I'm waiting for that plane to pass. Alrighty, I'm opening this up for comments. Are there any comments that anyone in the audience has on these agenda items before we discuss this? And you're more than welcome to just ask questions after too. Alrighty, let's move on. Hearing no questions. PUC docket 56167, compliance with the PUC docket 55454, finding that the WOWC was not operating as a nonprofit. So the membership list. Review and action regarding PUC requirements for submission of an accurate membership list in compliance with the PUC directors that is due today, March 3rd, 2025. So let me go ahead and give this to the board.
But Patty, didn't Juanita send that in because we submitted it twice?
Hold on.
Oh.
You do have one? Okay, Julie and Josie, this is for you since you guys were the credential committee. It was too much to print for everybody, several pages. Let me just give you a little backstory here. John Carlton, I think he had, I know he had submitted on the 28th of February the required member list, which is for the upcoming election.
Does anybody want to see it? I have an extra copy if you want to pass it around.
So anyways, he had worked with Lori Cantrell to come up with that membership voting list, and they submitted it on the 28th. Upon reviewing it, I noticed there were several discrepancies. We had people in our community that had passed away that were on the voting list that should have been removed. We had people that had moved away several months ago that were still on the list. We had new people that had moved in that weren't on the list. So it was, I think, around 10, if not more, discrepancies. And because that list has to reflect what the voting list is of the members 60 days in advance, it's required that it's supposed to be correct. And we're supposed to dot our I's and cross our T's. So we had to resubmit that, and we resubmitted that today. So it's like an amended voting list. It's required to file it. We don't have any choice. We are required to file that, so we filed an amended one. and hopefully the PUC will accept that. It is today, though, the deadline was today, so it was filed today. But we're gonna go through the process of full transparency for you guys, and we're gonna vote on it, even though it's not really required as a board vote. We're gonna go ahead and do it to get it in the record.
I have a question.
Yes.
So before each meeting that you have or convene, does this list have to be updated and sent in to the PUC?
So there's a docket at the public utility called the compliance docket for not operating as a nonprofit. And so there was an agreement made with the prior director, Jeff Walker, and the PUC that because we were found to have not complied with the requirements of a nonprofit, like election issues, he entered into an agreement for 5 years that the WSC would make all these filings for the next 5 years. And this voter list has to do with the elections because they had found that there was discrepancies with our election. People were voting that were dead. People were voting that weren't members, that people were voting 2 times. So this is the oversight of the PUC to ensure that our elections for the next 5 years are completely transparent and only the members are voting. And one of those requirements is every year we have to submit a list of the actual people that get to vote, and it's submitted 60 days before our election. Our election is April 28th.
Oh.
26th, I'm sorry, April 26th.
Okay.
So this is, give or take, this is 60 days. But we want to make sure that whatever we were filing, it's correct. Because we don't want to be back in the same position of why this whole case came up, that people are voting that don't have the authority to vote.
Does this include a future audit of people who might have shared water and sewer lines?
Hold on, you're getting ahead. Read your agenda. So that's what this is about. This is specifically because of an obligation for us to file this. And in 2 weeks, or not even 2 weeks, 10 days, we have to file our record retention policy. That's another thing we'll talk about. These are hard deadlines. We don't have a say. We have to file it. So with that being said, and hopefully no more questions, let's go ahead. I'm going to move that we...
You got one more question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm having a trouble with the today. The POA is not listed in here, it was listed in here before.
The POA is on this list. Somewhere they're on this list.
Well, I looked on the POA.
They only get
I know, we only get one vote.
They only get 1 vote, so you're only going to be listed. It doesn't matter how many memberships you have. You're only going to be
POA
listed.
itself.
Yeah.
The name, it was listed under Windermere POA, and it's not there now. Yeah, we pay for
Should be under
5,
W.
well, we pay for 5 bills, so. Yeah. Yeah, let's make that.
All right, well, good catch. Well, then we'll have to
Amend it.
amend, yeah.
They had it listed as Windermere, but they had it listed that the management company.
Oh,
Goodwin
is
was
the
listed.
management company there? Do you see the management company?
Well, I didn't look under Goodwin.
Well, how many is?
No, the answer. Thank you.
279. All right, thank you for bringing that to our attention. We'll make sure.
It's not under them either.
Yeah, okay.
But they're not the ones that should be voting, so.
Right, okay, thanks, Julie.
Well, I make an amendment, a motion to amend it and resubmit.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll do that. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and, we can go ahead and we can accept this with the condition that we add the Windermere POA on it. Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we accept this and, but with the exception of adding the POA as amended. So is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, motion passes. We are going to accept this with the addition of adding POA. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. All right, moving right along. The next agenda item is the retention policy, and it's review and action on the implementation and approval of the formal records retention policy to meet PUC requirements due to the PUC March 13, 2025. Looks like that's missing. Due to the PUC, sorry. So let me go ahead and let me hand that out to you guys. I'm gonna have you guys look at this copy, the larger one, because we're gonna have to sign that. Yeah, hang on, let me get this, and then, there we go. Hand that out to everybody. This is gonna be our retention policy. We're required on this compliance docket again that I spoke of. One of the other items, among everything else, is we must have a retention policy of how long we keep our documents. And this is what we are going to discuss and vote on tonight. Yeah, because I saved paper by doing 2 on the page. I promise I won't submit an expense report.
You're gonna give it to the world. There's not enough for everybody.
My eyes.
All right.
You wanna see it?
Maybe we should make you guys come up so we can be more efficient next time. Okay, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. All right. So this is the Windermere Water Supply Corporation document retention policy. It is the introduction, the records management responsibility, the records retention periods, corporate and governance records, financial and accounting records, operational and regulatory records at CTQ and PUC, legal and contractual records, employee and payroll records. That's all under the record retention periods. And then number 4 is record disposal and destruction procedures. 5 is policy enforcement and amendments. I can go over this. This is just kind of standard boilerplate language that this is the document policy or the record retention policy, and it's ensures compliance with Texas Water Code, Texas Nonprofit, TCQ, the PUC, IRS, because there's obligations with the IRS, and any applicable laws regarding a nonprofit water supply corporation. So the custodian is typically the secretary or a designated record officer is responsible for maintaining corporate records. We will review this annually. The secretary will conduct an annual review with the first quarter of each calendar year. Board member compliance upon leaving office. Board members shall return all corporate records in their possession to the WSC. So so we don't have this issue of previous board members keeping corporate documents and not being able to have an audit because we don't have financial documents. Number 3, record retention periods. I'm not going to really go over all this because it's, hey, this article is permanent. But typically your corporate governance documents are permanent. Board meeting minutes and resolutions permanent, and financials permanent. Some stuff 5 years, some stuff 7 years. Operation and regulatory records, same thing, permanent. Some are 5 years. Membership list, customer service applications are going to be upon termination and then plus 2 years. Boil water notices, legal and contractual records, permanent. I have major and minor, and I haven't really defined that. That's my mistake. We'll just maybe cross out minor and just say all are permanent, because it's probably in our best interest to have that. So let's go ahead and just cross out on legal and contractual records, cross out minor, 7 years, and we'll just have that major, which is permanent. And that's on the legal contractual records. And then employees' payroll records. Well, we don't really have employees, but we do have contract employees. So that's 5, 7, and then we have retirement and pension records. We don't have that. Nonetheless, we've got to have a record retention policy so that if, in the rare chance we have that, and that's permanent. And that's pretty much it. If litigation is pending, no relevant records may be destroyed until legal counsel confirms that. Although I think we have it to where we're keeping all of them. Some I think you can delete.
Where do 1099s fall under that category, Patty?
It's where IRS is. Also, one thing I wanted to let you know that this is always evolving. This is the first policy we have ever had. So it is evolving and it will be reviewed annually or as needed. So keep that in mind. If you have any suggestions, we're more than open to listening to that, whether shoot us an email or whatever.
Under the vendor and operator contracts, don't you think that should be more than 4 years, considering what we've gone through with all these changes?
Well, this is all recommended by TCEQ. This is the TCEQ retention policy. If they're a current operator, we have to have it. This is like they're no longer. I mean, they're always going to be, if they're a current vendor, we're going to have a contract. This is typically after their contract is not valid anymore, 4 years. You have to be careful. You don't want to get into a situation where you're keeping everything, and then you're, because then there's the person that has to upload all this to a site. But I will circle back around on that. I mean, this is the standard with the utilities that what TCEQ had recommended on their website with their policy. Okay, so I'll read this end. The last part, 5, policy enforcement and amendments. This document retention policy is adopted in compliance with the Texas Border Code, the Texas Nonprofit Corporation Act, and applicable regulatory requirements, and is intended to govern WOWC's record-keeping practices with clarity, consistency, and legal integrity. The Board of Directors of the Windermere Water Supply Corporation retains the right to review and amend this policy at any time. Any modifications must be formally approved by the board and recorded in the official meeting minutes. This policy remains in effect until repealed, replaced, or amended by the board. Board members and contractors are required to comply with its terms. The undersigned directors of the Windermere Water Supply Corporation certify that this document retention policy record was duly adopted by the board of directors on the date below. And we fill that in. Adopted by the board of directors of the Water Supply Corporation date. And hang on a second. And then it's the date, and then we sign it. So I'm going to open this up for discussion. Lanita, if you have any comments, Mark, Alan, are there no comments?
Anybody up there?
Well, I think we've been opening it up to them. We got to get going, moving along. Okay, no questions from the board, no discussion items. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move that we accept this document retention policy as our retention record policy in compliance with the order from the PUC docket. What docket number is that? It is docket number, the compliance one, well, it's 56167 and it's 55454. So I am going to make that motion that is okay. Second. All those in favor vote aye.
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 Thank you. Okay, the motion is passed. We have adopted a Windermere Oaks Water Supply Corporation document retention policy, aka record retention. That will be filed March 13th.
You'll file it this week. Yeah,
You'll
we'll file it before March.
Okay, awesome. Also, as a side note with that, we do have to have not just a record retention policy, but we do have to have document management locations. So, board of directors, I have set up in Google Docs. Hopefully, we can get that over to like I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. Dropbox. Thank you. We can move it over to a more secure site, but for now we have the Google Docs, and I have folders set up that all reflect all of these names and then all the subfolders for all those. So you guys will have access to it along with Accenture all down. And so that's where we'll dump our documents when we get public information requests in. No more are we going to go fact finding and looking for documents in here and there. And those documents are they're kept in this Google Docs. They're not kept on our desktops or anything like that. So when we get a public information request, we will set up that person's name with that folder, and we dump those documents they want in that folder. We send them a link to that folder where they can get those documents. And that is how we're going to do public information requests moving forward. Does that make sense? They'll get a link to their folder with a password, And that will be it. Easy peasy. Any questions?
Are we gonna need to physically sign today's docket?
Yeah, yes. Thank you for saying that. I almost
So I
forgot.
was gonna say sign.
So I'll go ahead and sign it, and then I'll pass it along.
Okay, well, I was gonna do 3 copies, each one was gonna have a copy too.
Yeah, okay. So today is March the 3rd, 2025, and I'm gonna sign director's name, Patty Blunker. And I'll just pass this down, and all of you guys sign that document. Yeah, let's all sign one document.
Okay. When we were on the board together, we set up that Dropbox, but we had talked also about the emails that you all used were, if the email that you all used, so that all those emails were recorded,
Yeah.
instead of using your personal email.
Yeah. Oh, Mark, if you can go ahead and set up an email address, because part of the compliance docket with this record retention and the voter list is that all board members have to have an email address specifically for the water company, not their personal. Oh, Mark. Oh, is that yours? Okay. So, Mark, when you get a chance, you can do that. Also, you need to take the Open Meetings Act training and then sign confidentiality, which we'll all do that, and that will be in the corporate records. Our certificate, and yeah, I'll get that with you guys. Get with y'all on that one. All right, great. Okay, Melina, great. We have it. We're good to go on that one.
Great.
You got it. Okay, next item. That was II. The next is B, PUC docket 50788 and PUC docket 56272, rate appeal and compliance docket tracking refunds and surcharges, discussion and action on the methodology for applying refunds and surcharges to customers' accounts, ensuring fairness and adherence to PUC guidelines. Are there any comments before we discuss this? None? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to read this to you guys and to everybody else until Anita. And so I want to take a moment to explain how refunds should have been handled and what changes should be made. So the old rates went into effect March of 2020. The new rates determined by the PUC went into effect March 2024, along with the refund process. So what should have happened, based on my conversations with the PUC, is that Windermere should have looked at the billing. Well, actually, I take it back. This is what the discussion was during the rate appeal. Is that what we should have done is looked at the billing records for March of 2020 and compared them to the customer list of March of 2024 when the PUC approved the rates, the surcharges, and the refunds. If someone was a customer in both March of 2020 and March 2024, they would be entitled to a refund. If they were not, they should not receive one. Moving forward, this is exactly how refunds should be handled. Right now, we are in our second year of refunds, meaning that refunds should match up with the customer from March of 2021, where we're at right now. So when I compared, I sat down and I compared March 2021 customers to our current list. There's roughly around 88 customers that we have right now that weren't customers back then. Unfortunately, these customers have been receiving refunds from day one, even though they were not paying the overcharges back in 2020 or for 2021. This previous process has cost us nearly $7,000 per month in premature refunds. Starting with the next billing cycle, I make the recommendation that we change this. Refunds should now be issued only to those who are actual customers during the matching refund period. So if you don't see a refund on your bill, your next bill, this is why. These changes will ensure that refunds are fair, accurate, and financially responsible to the Water Supply Corporation and to the members, the customers. So we have long-term health of the WSC. So what we are doing currently is instead of doing that, we're just saying, okay, let's pay everybody a refund right now, and they were a customer for 12 months, so we'll cut it off at 12 months, their refunds. Well, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. And we're giving up $7,000, at least $7,000, because as you know, during COVID, we had a big surge in people moving to our community and homes being built. So we have a lot of customers that weren't here in March of 2020 when the old rates were put in. And it's not saying that they're not getting the refunds. It's saying that they're going to match up when they became a customer to when the refunds would hit for them, for as a customer.
Does that include the builder?
I don't know. You have to go through and you have to look at, he was a customer back then. So he has several homes, but you're just looking at who was a customer. Another issue that we have to address is account numbers being reused. We should be issuing new account numbers each time someone becomes a new customer and not reuse old ones. Because the issue that I'm seeing, that I went through all this, is that that account number is used again. That person possibly was a member back in 2020, and now, or they're transferring the membership. And one thing though I do want to note that transferring memberships, there's specific language, and you're not supposed to be transferring memberships just however you see fit when there's a new owner. It's typically through like the probate process where your family and it's your heirs that get your home. That's when you can transfer a number, and that would be applicable to when they paid the surcharge. Let's say whoever the relative was, they got the refund. This person would get the refund too, because it's in the same family, it's the same member. But it's a lot of work to do this. It really is. It's not something simple. But you just don't want to throw this out and say, well, it's too complicated. Because guess what? We're shorting ourselves $7,000 a month. We have. And that's stopping. We're not doing that anymore. Those days are over. We need that money.
Is that $7,000 ultimately was due to these people, but maybe not another year from now? Or if it's not due,
no, it's due separate times. It's just due all different times.
But it wasn't due in the beginning.
For lack of a better word, they front-loaded the refund.
Right. So front-loaded refunds. Simple. You take the director's report of March of 2020 and you look at what's the director's report for the same month, if not the month before. I mean, I think it all lines up. And that person, if they're on the 2020 and they're not on the 2024, they don't get the refund for that month. It's really not that difficult. So I have more to say on that, but hold on. So with that, I want to go ahead and I want to talk more about updating the tariff on that, because I think I kind of was throwing all that together. So with that being said, we still don't have a tariff that's updated. We have a tariff that's never been updated that includes the new rates or the volumetric, sometimes called tier rates. They're the old tier rates from 2020 that were passed by that board. We are obligated to the PUC that we have to have an updated tariff, and it hasn't been updated since 2020, 5 years. And we have all new rates. So we are going to go ahead and we need to update the tariff. And so I have a resolution, and I have this. Go ahead and you can look at this. These are the pages of where we have to update that. Is that the right thing? Okay, yeah. So everybody can. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. I'm losing my eyesight. So right here is.
I'm in a meeting right now.
Oh, here it is. I only had 3 copies, sorry. Anyways, this is just in the tariff, everybody. This is page 42 in the tariff, section G, and this is where the old rates are in here, where it says monthly charges, and it says $90.39 for water and $66.41 for sewer, and the gallon is charged. And it's all wrong, and we have to update it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We have to update it. So all what I just talked about, the refunds, the surcharges, and everything, it's under that agenda item. So here's the resolution that we're going to look at tonight and hopefully pass here. here.
So
And-
Patty, just to clarify.
Josie, will you hand these out for me,
Yeah,
please?
just to clarify, $7,000 a month, is that a month that we were
I
paying?
did it just for this month. I
Okay.
just looked at this month, and I said, in 2021, what did that membership list look like? And, so I said, what did that membership look like? And I go, okay, well, let me look at the February 2025 net list of customers. I'm sorry, not member, but customer list. And what did the customer list, what does it look like right now? And there was roughly 88 people that were not on that 2021 list. 88 people times the surcharge amount, give or take, I don't know, because maybe some are just water. I can't imagine that though. They're new, they're getting sewer. So that, you know, you take the 88, you times it by the refund amount for water and sewer, and you get around the number that I just gave you. Give or take, give or take. We're leaving that money on the table. We're like I said, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Money that we should have. They're entitled to it, but they should be getting it when they became a customer.
Well, maybe some may not need to have, maybe they got 4 months and now they should have been getting a total of 3. It could be that issue too, but they owe us.
Okay, so go ahead and I'm gonna read this resolution, and everybody should have a copy of it, hopefully. I think I may have sent it to you, Anita. Okay, bear with me. I'm just going to get through this really quick, guys. A resolution of the Board of Directors of Windermere Oaks Water Supply Corporation amending the tariff to reflect water and sewer rates established by the Public Utility Commission of Texas and addressing refunds and surcharges. Whereas Windermere Oaks Water Supply Corporation, WOWC, is a nonprofit water supply corporation operating under the authority of Chapter 67 of the Texas Water Code and is the holder of a retail water utility and sewer service certificate of convenience and necessity numbers 12011 and 20662 issued by the PUC. Whereas the PUC in docket 50788 determined that the water and sewer rate previously set by the WOWC were not in the public interest and established revised rates that should have been adopted on February 11, 2020. Whereas the PUC set water service rates at base $40.77, includes 0 gallons, and then the gallonage charges, you'll see those are the new gallonage charges, sometimes called tier rates, set by them. And then the sewer rates, the base rates are $30.06, gallonage charge, it's a one-time gallonage charge of $6.61 per 1,000 gallons. This is set by the PUC, not us. Whereas the PUC determined that WOWC overcharged ratepayers due to the improper implementation of rates and ordered the utility to refund a total of $884,662.62 to affected customers. Whereas this refund shall be distributed over a 45-month period or until $884,662.62 has been refunded to each eligible customer receiving the following monthly refunds: water $43.59 and sewer $32.03. Whereas the PUC authorized the WOWC to recover $478,000. That might not be the exact number, but it might be. In rate case expenses through a surcharge to be collected from each customer who takes utility service over a 45-month period or until the full amount is recovered, whichever occurs first. Whereas this surcharge, and this is important, I want everyone to listen to this, this surcharge is specifically authorized by the PUC per the final order in docket 50788, and no additional authority is granted to the Board of Directors to implement any other surcharges beyond what is expressly approved in the rate appeal. Whereas the PUC determined that the previous gallonage charge structure was not in the public interest and ordered new volumetric rates to better reflect the cost of service, and the PUC adopted the following gallonage charges for water and sewer service effective March 23rd, 2020. Like that's what they should have been. That's what that means. As set forth in docket 50788, you'll see those are the water gallonage charges that the PUC set, and the sewer service rates, and gallonage charge. Whereas the WWC shall amend its tariff to reflect these PUC ordered rates, ensuring compliance with the final decision in docket 50788. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Windermere Water Supply Corporation that the above recitals are true and correct. 2, that the Board of Directors of the WSC hereby adopts this resolution to formally amend the WSC tariff to reflect the water and sewer rates established by the PUC docket number 50788. This resolution is hereby passed and approved this 3rd day of March 2025 by vote in favor, against, and abstaining. Does anyone have any questions?
I do. So we have been asking a couple of times whether or not we are getting charged for 2 connections or 1. And there has been no clarity on it. I'd just like to get an idea of what.
I just thought I'd go again today.
So I think
Yes.
hold on.
I think that's the sewer connection.
Okay, so hang on. Oh well, that's fine. Okay, here's the deal. I had typed up what I was going to say because I knew that question would come up. Let me see if this is one.
Yes, that's it, Mark.
So
The light. You're trying to turn
we
it
are
on?
and we'll see. We really don't need to take a vote because the Board of Directors, but we'll do it, you know, because I think it's on there. It's on the agenda. The board had been passing on one surcharge, and the surcharge in the proposal for decision by the ALJ, and then there was what they called a number run that the commission threw to a division in the PUC called the Rate Regulation Division to crunch numbers and recalculate them because the ALJ's number, there were some changes in it. And so if you look at the rate regulations document they submitted to the PUC, it was all based on 271 connections. Like, I really don't want to go into like telling you guys but I will. When Windermere did their rate study and they came up with their rates, they only did one rate. Billy, I know you were on the board when you guys did a rate increase, and you did one for water and you did one for sewer. That's how you do it. Windermere didn't do that. They did one, they put a water and they put a sewer together. And they had some odd, different way of doing the math. We never quite understood what it was, of crunching the numbers. And it was an average of 271 customers, connections. And that's what they used to do the calculations and all the formulas. The issue with that is that you are putting all the expenses of water and sewer together. And then what they would do is they would do, 60% of our expenses are water, 40% are sewer. So let's get this one number generated by this rate design, and then we're going to go 60% of that is going to be a water rate, 40% of it is going to be the sewer, and that's how they essentially determine the rates. That's really how it is. Others probably will challenge that, but that's really what the takeaway was. The issue with that is, as we all know, is you don't have out here all water and sewer customers. We have in the airport, as we know, which just sewer customers. And then we have water customers, and I happen to be just a water with 2 homes. I have septic systems, but the home was built in the 1970s. We have at least 25 homes like that. So what that did is, when you're doing that 30 or that 60-40, you're passing on sewer costs to those people. And you have to do a cost of service when you do a rate design. And that it wasn't just that, there were other things that came up too. But because they did that way, and they said, well, let's use 271 and divide it, and that's how we do it, Well, you went through that process with the people at the PUC understanding you had 271 connections. And so when the PUC, I suspect, when they were looking at how to come up with the surcharge, they said connections, because throughout it was 271. 271 was the number. The proposal for decision that was done by the administrative law judge realized that, and he said per customer. And so did the rate regulation who crunched the numbers, and they said it. It's probably an oversight by the commission. We could go back and say, hey, commission, you know, da-da-da-da-da. But the surcharge is not a requirement. They said in the order, you may charge it. You may charge it. So it's my opinion. I'd love for, you know, others to maybe chime in, answer, or, you know, Lenita. I have talked to the PUC about it. I know the board said they've talked to the PUC, but I too have talked to the PUC. So it is our choice. It is our choice to make that decision. Where this is going to benefit us is the previous board was not charging everybody the surcharge. They weren't charging people that were new customers. So they were looking at if you were a customer coming on and they were giving you like 10 months that you got that refund, they said, well, 10 months you pay the surcharge. So once you had that 10 months of surcharges and refunds, you're done. All you do is pay the new rates. Whereas the 45 people, which I'm looking around the room, most of us are the 45 months, we paid from the beginning. We pay the 45 months of surcharges, and then we get the refunds for 45. And that's not what we need to do. What we need to do is everybody, is what the order said, everybody who's a customer pays that surcharge. And when that surcharge, you've reached that $478,000, then that's it. But remember, it was on 271, and we're at 304 customers. So it's possible that maybe we tweak that. PC had mentioned that maybe, I don't know, that if you're taking that 478 and you're dividing it by how many customers we have today, that surcharge comes down.
Is it one or two, I guess?
It's one. It's one.
Thank you.
It's one. So we have a handful of things, or let's look at the agenda first and see yeah, so on the agenda is, well, we've got that resolution, and Lenita, do you have any questions?
No, we've had this conversation many times before and had the conversation with the PUC as well. Agreed that everyone should be paying the surcharge.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I mean, because if they're doing a double surcharge, you guys, on us, like that 478 was supposed to be collected over, I think, 45 months. At that rate, it would be done in another year. There'll be no surcharges coming in. That was not the intention of it. So with that being,
we do have to note that even though the surcharge was coming in, it was not being paid to pay down that debt. So that's another thing that we have to address at one point in time, not today.
Okay, yeah.
Can I ask you a question just to verify? So when they're giving away surcharges to people who don't deserve it, that's going against the credit that's supposed to be paid down from the $400 and some odd $1,000. So it's taking money out of everyone else's pocket, because once that hits zero, even if they overpaid somebody else who didn't deserve it, the customers who actually deserve it won't get any more because the funds won't be there because they hit that cash limit.
Can you repeat that, rephrase that?
So the repayment is supposed to, what, 438,000, something like that?
Rate, I feel like.
He's talking about the people that didn't.
So the people who didn't deserve it are taking the cut of
Didn't
that
deserve
pie.
it. You're
I'm
saying
using the wrong word.
deserved it, deserved it.
People that didn't pay it.
Correct. So once that clicks down to zero, what's going to happen to people who still are supposed to be receiving the rebate on that are not going to get it because they overpaid?
I mean, that's a really good question, but I think right now we're going to just not deal with that right now, because that's a conversation that this board needs to have with Answer, because that's going to take some time to sit down and discuss how we deal with that. But what we have to do immediately is making sure that everybody is paying their fair share, that everybody is getting hit with the surcharge. Or not hit, but everybody is paying it.
Well, what if you got a new bill that's got the two surcharges on it? You're going to be paying one, or it's going to?
Well, we're going to vote on that, so hold on. I mean, if we vote on it. Okay, so, but let's look at that item. So, yeah, so discussion and action, including voting on a tariff updates, including the PUC rate appeal rates, surcharges, and refund structures, ensuring that WSC tariff remains compliant with the obligation. Oh, actually, that was, that was actually B, the PUC docket, but I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. That was item B on the agenda, PUC docket, it's all like the same, you know? PUC docket 50788, PUC docket 56272, rate appeal and compliance docket, tracking refunds and surcharges, discussion and action on the methodology for applying refunds and surcharges to customers' accounts, ensuring fairness and adherence to PUC guidelines. Okay, that is what we're gonna, that we just kind of discussed with along with the other ones. But I would like to make a motion or move that we give out, we assess the refund. The refunds are, they match when the customer tapped into the system, they became a customer. Like it's explained earlier. Oh.
You want these two?
I put them on the back of my head. So yeah, so if you became a customer in March of 2021, that's a year after the rates went in, that would be around, I guess now, that you would be getting a refund, you know, since 2025, and we've been doing this for years. So that's going to take some time. We do have an item on the agenda to discuss that, setting up a committee to help us. We'll get there. But let's go ahead and if there's any questions about it, let's go ahead and do that. And then also, across the board, everybody is charged the refund. Everybody is charged the surcharge. Yeah.
That would be all 300 and what we have?
304 roughly. 304, so 304. And there should be no, this person gets it, this person doesn't. It's boom, across the board. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna move to make a motion that first item is that all customers are assessed or the surcharge, and then 2, that your refund reflects the time at which you became a customer on the system, when the old rates were in as to the current time.
Would you be able to track that with the data that we have from the accounting system and what they've been billing out?
Well, it's rather simple. There's a director's report that is produced every month that lists all the customers, which will make sure that we all get that each month, and you can see who the customer was and what the bill was. So all you have to do is go back to the month 2020, 2021, 2022, 2024, and match up that to now when the rates were passed. They were passed by the PUC or approved in March of 2024. So, interestingly enough, when the rates were raised and when the new rates were approved, they like match up month to month, as opposed like March and then like June, you know? So really you just take that director's report and you hold them up and you look. I mean, today you can put anything in AI, you can dump it into AI and say, hey AI, who was on this report, who was, you know, not very difficult. We have staff that can do that.
Plus you're gonna have committees, I'm assuming.
So, you want me to restate that?
That was everybody's agreement.
So I want to, I'm making a motion that number 1, that the surcharge, that everyone is assessed a surcharge. Every customer is assessed a surcharge. And it's 1 surcharge. That's item 1. 1 surcharge and 1 surcharge for every customer. And then number 2 is that all the customers are going to be given their refund, if they're entitled to a refund, according to matching up the month of when they became a member. So if it's in a year or 2 months, that's when they get their refund. And so while, yes, we're going to have to go back and look at it, we need to vote on this, that this is going to be what we do. There's going to have to be some cleaning up for sure. So I'm making that motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
Aye.
All those in favor? Vote aye. Aye. Okay, so no more double surcharges and all that. Okay, great. So that was B. 9 was the discussion and action on voting on the tariff updates, which that was what I already read and I got ahead of it. And I think we already signed it. So I'm gonna make a motion that, we accept the changes to the tariff, to update the tariff for the surcharges and refunds. And the tier rates, so.
Is this the what's gonna be updated too? The handout you gave us?
The handout I gave you is what the current tariff states, and then the rest.
So we don't know what the,
Well,
it has to be formulated.
no, we already know what they are. It's on the, but it's what we're paying right now. It's in the resolution, yeah. But we got to get it in the tariff. The tariff is wrong, and we have to submit that tariff to the PUC. We're obligated to do that. We're required to do that.
So this is gonna update the tariff?
Yeah. So this resolution. So then we'll just.
Do you have the old tariff or not?
I gave you the old page.
On the first side of it?
It's right here. I know, we have so much paperwork. Here it is right here. It says section G. Look for the document. It says section G.
Right. Are we gonna increase the equity buy-in fee? Is that gonna be part of it?
That's, you didn't read your agenda.
He just said now, Daddy.
Oh, you guys are getting ahead of me. Slow down. Okay.
So we're just voting on that. Okay. So.
We have to. We don't we have to update our tariff. Okay. But we already signed it. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
We all voted on it.
Okay, the motion passed. Okay, we are updating our tariff. Great, thank you. All right, moving right along. Are there any questions from the audience as of so far? Any questions anymore? Okay. Number 10, discussion regarding the equity buy-in fee and the tap fees. And I do apologize. I do have it. Here it is. I thought I left it at home.
It'd be nice if they paid the bill at the community center, so it would be in the twin.
Are you passing out something? No?
Sorry, I couldn't pass out.
Didn't listen to the attorney.
Were you there?
What's the checks in the mail?
Joe, did you have to know? Okay, everybody, this is something I have this at home. Let's move. We want to get home.
Yeah.
So this is Winkler Water Supply Corporation. There's over 800 water supply corporations in the state of Texas. And I have this, but I thought it would be better if I go online and I just pull this up on the PUC Interchange website. If you turn this over, it's rather simple for an equity buy-in fee. An equity buy-in fee, if you look at the bottom, this is the formula. We take the total contributions. I'll wait for you guys. You take the contributions and assets of the corporation minus the accumulated depreciation, minus the outstanding corporation debt principal, minus the developer contributions, minus the grants received, divided by the total number of members, customer equals average net equity buy-in fee. So for this water supply corporation back in 2017, it was $1,697. And for us to do this, we can't do it because we don't have accurate financials. So I already talked to Lanita about this, and we definitely need to do this. We need to get going on this and adopt the new equity buy-in fee and tax fees, because right now I understand is we are subsidizing the tap fees because the tap fees cost more than what we have in the tariff. So we're out of pocket. And the people that are getting tap fees, they're not actually paying the full cost. We are paying the difference. So exactly. So we need to immediately at the next meeting we're going to discuss voting on raising the equity buy-in fee and the tap fees, and then it has to go through the process at the PUC. Not a long rate appeal. It's not as difficult. But until then, what I think Lanita's going to work on, is getting these numbers so we can do this. Some of it we already know we don't have, like grants received. We don't have it. And this is based on 2024 numbers. We can figure out outstanding corporation debt principal, developer contributions. We don't have it. I guess on some of this it would be like the It may be called something different, but this is the formula. We may call it something different. But it's easy. It's 1, 2, 3. We can get this done. We should have done this a long time ago. Currently it's like 4,800. It's been like that for 20 years. I think it was like 4,000 and then it went to 4,600. We are giving this stuff away.
So what does it cost now for an actual tax? And she said that's at
It's the
800
same.
and
It's the
something.
same. They haven't changed it.
I know, but what's the cost? The
Actual
real
cost to
is
do it.
I do not know the actual cost of the tap. That's a good question and we need to find out.
But these are for new builds. These are
all for new
people.
builds. This is not for existing homes. When you build a new home or a hangar or whatever. If you want an extra tap, for irrigation, you have to pay an
We
equity
currently
finance
have
fee.
4 applications for new builds, and we're gonna lose this money now.
What?
Yeah.
Maybe $20,000 we didn't get.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so guys, so we're not voting on it. This is simply just to inform you guys and let everybody know we have got to get going on this. This is
Well, who are you gonna appoint to work on it?
well, we have to get the numbers. It's not really time consuming. You just get these numbers and you plug them into like the calculator or Excel and bam. It's getting the numbers is the difficult part because apparently we don't have any financials that's never been passed on to us. Yes.
Is it possible to put a number out there and people just pay it and you refund the difference?
No,
between the
because
number?
you cannot do that because you have to get approval from the PUC and you have to justify it. You can't say I just pulled it out of thin air.
Do you have to automatically approve the permits or the applications, just rubber stamp it, or is it like we got a delay and you two have time to get the numbers?
Well, it's in our tariff and it's approved in our tariff, and until our tariff is changed, we are bound by that. It's like a contractual obligation for us to follow that tariff. And if it says, we have to, jump up 3 times and turn around once, and then sign the application, by golly, that's what we gotta do. If we change it, if we get it changed, we immediately change the tariff to get that in there. But we can vote on it. But going back to that compliance filing that Jeff Walker agreed to, that we are bound by that we have to file any kind of rate increase, we have to go before the PUC and get their blessing. However, this is not a rate change. This is something simple that you just show the methodology. Here's the formula. Every WSC uses it, and that's that.
Good.
Okay.
So once you get the numbers, you can call a special meeting, because now you may have these new hangers, who knows when that would start taking place.
Yeah.
Back to your thing about dollars.
So
Okay,
you'll
guys.
vote on it at the
I
next
love
meeting.
how everybody's involved and we're asking questions, but it's like 7:21.
Yeah.
Let's get going through this meeting.
Okay.
Gonna be on a plane in the morning. Okay, great. So there was no voting on that, right? Okay, great. Moving right along. Perfect. 12, discussion and action including voting on a customer audit, verification of owners and service, including the formation of a customer audit committee to oversee verification of property ownership and service status, ensuring accuracy in the WSC records. This is long
I'm
overdue.
going to circle back to 11.
Oh, what was 11?
Temporary manager.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lenita. Yikes. 11, discussion and action. A discussion and action including voting on implementing a financial checks and balances and ensuring temporary manager approves any and all Windermere expenditures. This is reflective of, this mirrors what the order is in the temporary manager, order by the PUC that the temporary manager has the oversight over payments, our debt, paying our vendors, and billing, all that kind of stuff. So this is to ensure that they have that authority, that the board has voted, and that we understand and we agree that they have the authority based on the temporary manager order. So I am going to make a motion that, as this states, that the financial checks and balances and ensuring the temporary manager approves any and all Windermere expenditures. That is the job of answer. Do I have a second?
I would like to have a discussion, please.
Okay.
Do we get to see that and review all things that while we're doing it?
So that is the authority of answer for that order, that they are doing it, but I'm sure Lenita would be more than happy to,
Yeah, I think that the board should be aware of all.
share that with us, yeah.
We need to know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. But this is simply that they are making those payments. That we are not the ones getting the checkbook and providing it. They have that authority to pay our vendors. So they know what's going on because there's been some issues. Yeah, they don't know that things are getting paid or not getting paid.
Right.
Or some people are paying things that shouldn't be paid, so to speak, for just board members. No.
This board never voted on this?
This is going to be full transparency. Answer's going to work with us. This is, we're not going to get in their way to make sure that we move forward. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, moving right along. 12, discussion and action including voting on a customer audit verification of owners service, including the formation of a customer audit committee to oversee the verification of property owners and service status, ensuring accuracy in the WSC records. This is something that we definitely need to do. We've never had an audit, really, I think, of the customers and taps and sewer service and whether people have paid their equity buy-in fee. We really need to get in here and understand what's going on with our customers. And so, Josie, you had expressed to me that you were interested in helping out and sitting on a committee.
I am. Yes. Count me in.
Well, since you're the credential committee, you guys, you already know this. You know this member list inside out now. It probably would be much easier for you just to transition into it. I mean, I don't know.
Thanks for volunteering.
Anybody else? If anybody else is interested.
If she wants to,
Yeah.
So with regards to the new water company that's coming in, I know this probably either does or
Remember,
doesn't
it's
play in.
7:30. We want to make sure
Yes,
we
I
get
know.
home.
I just want to make sure that they're actually doing their due diligence to find out with regards to taps that are shared taps that they're going to provide us a list.
Well, we need to have those conversations, but that's where you guys come in.
Okay.
And maybe need some talk with Lori, and we need to get a handle on this.
Understood.
I mean, if people haven't paid their equity buy-in fees or whatever, or we've got people sharing, we've got to get a handle on this. I don't have all the answers for you guys right now. We just need to get a committee going.
Yep, I'm good.
And I'm sure moving down the road, we can get more direction, talking with Lanita too about this and what this looks like and how we work as a team with the new operators and all that. So, okay.
So are we setting a date or are we
No, we're
setting
just doing this.
Okay, just preliminary.
That's details we'll talk about later. Let's just get this committee going.
Is there any way to answer that you can, if you find someone who has been sharing a tap, that you can get back revenue for them not paying the bill they're supposed to?
Like that idea.
Great ideas, but like I said, let's just get this committee going.
First we got to identify them.
Right.
Yeah. Let's
Figure out how long it's been going on.
These are great ideas.
And if you do that,
Hey, you know what? You would be a great committee person.
Really?
I say.
on it with us.
Okay. All right. Good.
and then we devise a grace period to come out of the woodwork.
Yep.
I tell you what, you guys get together. Get together, this committee, and you guys discuss things. How do we clean things up?
Yeah, come clean
Thank
out.
you.
Not,
Put that in the
yeah,
record that who's going to be.
So for the record, so let's go ahead and we're going to make a motion because we're creating this. So I'm going to make a motion that we are going to first create this committee called the Customer Audit Verification of Owners and Service Committee, and that the initial members that are going to help with that is Josie Fuller, Bill Stein, and Julie Newman. And
Anybody else?
And so, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, okay. Motion passes. Next one is another committee. Discussion and actions including voting on the website committee, including establishment of a committee to oversee website updates, public notices, meeting postings, and document accessibility to improve transparency and communication with WSC members. We need like one person or two people. There's just a lot on that website. I now have access to it, but oh my God, there's so many documents. It needs to be cleaned up. There's old stuff on there, and I don't want to burden the person right now, Lori Cantrell, with that, because we're charged for that, for her to do that, to clean it all up. And I don't want to overburden her with, well, that's what she is, we're paying her to do that. No, we're gonna get free people. We're gonna get.
I would suggest in the email, you would ask the community, when it comes to that kind of technical stuff, there are people who are really good and efficient at it, and maybe you just say, hey, this is for the good of the community and see.
Well, it is, it's on the agenda, and
I know, I appreciate it, I'm just saying that trying to advertise it more. It's not me, I wish I could, if it's turning a wrench, glad to help, but it's,
well, no one wants to show interest here.
There's just, my experience
He's
is.
asking just have a bigger pool to fit.
I'm just saying a bigger pool, you got 300 ratepayers, may, hey, we're really looking for somebody who's a little web tech savvy.
Yeah, that's right, tech savvy.
You're looking for somebody who's used to running the website, they either know how to use WordPress, or they're.
Are you saying that you would like to help?
I have no clue how to do that. That is a downfall of things that I have people that do it for me, and I have to spend money.
Okay.
And that's what y'all are trying to avoid.
Well, we're going to table this for now because there's nobody right now that is showing interest.
We need to put something out.
So we'll just table this for now, and we'll move on to the next agenda item. This isn't a priority agenda item.
But we are going to keep that website.
Yeah. I'm just, we're trying to cut costs, and every time we use Lori Cantrell to do a lot of this work, it's cha-ching. And if we have a volunteer in the community, it's not difficult work. We need to save money and cut corners.
Well, if you don't have anybody else, here's what I will tell you is I will get on it.
No,
as a temporary.
As you're over, no.
I'm over.
We're not going to allow it. I'm sorry. We're not accepting your application.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Okay, thank you. But you're overcommitted. Oh my gosh. Item 14, adjourn.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Are there any? Thank you, Lenita. Lenita, do you have any questions, comments?
No, everything was great. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you guys later. And yeah, I'm going to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting at 7:31. Goodness gracious. Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor vote aye. Aye. The motion passes. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you for showing us how it should be done.
You never know she's a husky how far she is.
All right.
Picking up your walks and going.
No, I'm going to throw them down at the audience. This is going to be I think done with this This means that legally this is not.